Hello, guys.
Hey, hey,
Piero is
hey.
already enjoying the music. Let's go. Oh my God. Here we go again with this magnificent set. And I'm so excited because here we talk about inflatables, the favorite PFP of the Ordinals market, right?
Oh yeah.
Let's go. Well, today I have with me Piero, that most of you know, but here it's his first time on the Vivid show, and we're gonna talk tech, of course, with Piero. Let's
Welcome.
go. We have
Thanks,
Shaderism, of
guys.
course.
Happy to be here.
Let's go. Have Shaderism, artist behind Inflatables, and of course, Looming Emotion, and Base Chain. Let's go, guys. Let's go with his new PFP. I love it. Perfect.
Oh
Thank you
yeah.
very much for changing
The
it.
golden crown. The
uh,
rarest of the
King.
rarest.
for,
The
for
king
you,
is here.
Shaderism, it's the second time now doing this video show. Last time it was with Blue. Great show, by the way. If you haven't seen,
Hmm.
go check it out. And how does it feel, Pierrot, to be here in this magnificent gallery?
It's so good, every day I work on Vivid and I have this gallery, the website. This is my little baby. But it's so good to have as a real physical location here with you. It's so nice
Exactly.
to
That's
be
the
here.
real metaverse. Here we are in the real
Exactly.
metaverse. Everybody thought that it was a scam, but no, it's not a scam. We are in the actual metaverse. Oh my God. And you, Shaderism, are you excited to talk again and again about inflatables, or are you getting tired of it?
No, absolutely. It's always fun to talk about it. And yeah, last time on Blue's show, obviously it was a different environment. Now it's fun to be in our vivid gallery environment. Like looking up here, we've got a
Exactly.
couple of looming emotions. We've got obviously one golden inflatable there and another one with base chain up there. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool to see
You are
this
the
kind of
main
vivid
player
gallery
today.
environment.
It's a solo
Yeah,
show for you in the gallery
it
today.
is. It is.
Everyone is looking at you. And you, base chain, how are you, man? Nice PFP change. What happened there? What's this? What's this incredible piece that you got? You've been the luckiest man on earth, or what? Oh, I can't hear base chain. Why? Okay, guest, you are muted. Actually, base chain. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but I'll try. Let me. It's weird. Yeah, well, I don't know. Base chain. Last time also happened the same time, so maybe if you can solve that on your side. But yeah, we're gonna have base chain in a minute. And yeah, the idea was to do another deep dive on the technical aspects from inflatables because okay, base chain is joining us again. Let me check. Base chain up, dark. What happened? Hmm. Yeah, I remember. Okay, sorry. This is what I need to do, I think. Let me give you
Oh,
a
we
sec.
have two Gerard today. That's a lot.
Yeah, because I think I have
We'll fix that in a minute, right?
yeah.
That in a
There
minute,
we
of course.
go.
Yeah. And
Okay, nice one.
exactly like this. So can you hear us? Can we hear
I
you?
can, I can. GM guys, how we
Let's
doing?
go, perfect.
Jam,
Jim
Great.
jam.
Jim.
Great. So yeah, tell us
Bro, Shaderism, Gerard. What do you want me to tell you? I'll tell you everything. I got some
about
wild
this
stories, but
PFP
I'll leave those
change,
out.
man. Seriously, when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, he just picked the ultimate grail from secondary." But then I realized that you got it just by being lucky, man. That's crazy. Seriously.
100%. The mint gods were smiling on me on mint day, and I've got the gold inflatable with the
Yeah,
crown, and now I'm just
if
looking
you get
to
that,
find my
it's
soulmate.
obviously yeah, and obviously if you get that, if you get so lucky getting the, I guess kind of the rarest of the rarest, then there's no other way than to change your PFP to it, right?
I
Exactly.
mean, what else would I use? This is the Vivid PFP, is it not?
It is. It
It
is.
is.
Let's go,
Absolutely.
man.
Let's go.
I really want more people to switch PFPs. I think it's gonna take a little bit of time until people realize how incredible this piece, and that's why we are doing this show to show people what's behind this PFP, this artwork. because I see messages on the Discord, on X, that people just don't know enough of it. They don't know about all the features. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But first, I wanted to know a little bit about how you feel now, Shaderism, now that this is finally released and people love it. How do you think that people reacted to this new collection?
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing to see so much inflatables on timelines, and obviously, like from my perspective as an artist, obviously you have the idea like way back, like I don't know, it's been in my head for a year or something, and then like slowly kind of building it up, and you do get this kind of sense of relief that oh, okay, now it's like the idea has kind of condensed finally into a real thing that like other people can in a way touch as well, or even like 3D printing, you can actually touch the idea now in a physical world as well. So, but yeah, it's very cool to see the response that it's been getting, and yeah,
Yeah, I
happy
also
to
think that a lot of
happy to
people,
follow.
yeah, I see a lot of people very excited during the min date, and people still collecting the soulmates. So that's very cool, and I'm happy to see that in this kind of market. I believe that even if the market is difficult right now, when people realize that there is something so interesting like inflatable, well, they just spend more and more time on Discord. So it looks like the bull run again, but for this short period of time. So it's cool. And man, I just realized that Pierrot is wearing a non-chain monkey hat. Oh my god! Every
Yeah.
Right.
person that comes to this show does some promotion for on-chain monkey. Please, on-chain monkey, if you can sponsor the show.
I mean, they are the best. Soon, I hope we'll have the Vivid caps too.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
Soon enough, maybe we can change to a real like vivid gallery background, like we have, but in
Yeah.
real life.
Exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. It has been a great response from people. How do you see it, you as a collector based chain? Do you think that that people realize how great this collection is yet, or yeah, what's your feeling?
No, they don't.
They don't.
No, they don't. Absolutely not. But that's why we're here. We're here to educate, let people know that the tech on Bitcoin is awesome, and that things like this can be created, and that they can be created efficiently,
Hmm.
and that the final output is just magic. I mean, these things are incredible. Shaderism, you should be extremely proud of this. And but before
Thanks,
this,
sweet.
I mean,
Thank you.
looming emotion. Yeah, look at it in the background. I see him back there. I mean, that's another great example,
Hmm.
for quite some time after Looming Emotion minted, I don't think people were aware that they're animated. So no, people aren't aware of how fantastic these things are, and that they're dynamic and they change with blocks. I've seen some really cool outputs based on some unique blocks, and I think that ultimately our collector market has to mature, and we've got to recognize the wonderful technical achievements that are happening right in front of our very eyes.
Mm. Yeah, it's true that some people started playing with the blocks, and and I saw come join the party at block 800 whatever, and some
Yeah,
people sharing.
rave inflatables rave party. That was
E-
fun.
exactly,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. Like, I mean, we can't really claim marketplaces like Magic Eden. They need to make a functioning website, but for sure, like, it doesn't make it easy to find this kind of artwork when you just see an image, and maybe it's very easy to kind of browse over a thing and just think that it's another image like all the other ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, like hopefully in the future it'll be a lot easier to kind of see. I don't know, maybe even just having tags on Magic Eden would be like a really cool starting place to see like, okay, these pieces are animated and they are interactive and they use live blockchain chain data.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, just some
this I think
tags.
they would make it a lot.
Mm.
Yeah,
I agree. And
exactly,
there is one
exactly.
thing that we discovered also through, well, through this collection, is that we have this option here to see the animated images or not on Magic Eden, and
Yeah.
it's great because so now I have it ticked by default, but when you unactivate it, you have this collection page with the real animations that the creator provides to Magic Eden. So we understand
Yeah.
that, of course, it's super hard to load great animations for 400 pieces, 800 pieces, whatever. But yeah, when you got the computer for it, I think it's pretty cool to activate that, and because it just gives you another feeling from the collection. Like really, if you look at the collection like this, you're like, oh, okay, that's great. But when it's freeze, it just looks weird, you know. And I guess that a lot of people maybe not realize that yet, and yeah, maybe they should activate that by default instead of. And I don't know if it's possible, you know, to try to track if they have enough power to render it, and if they don't, they just switch it or they add a pop up. Is your screen freezing? Just activate it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you often these kind of websites they decide to fall back onto the easiest thing, like okay, let's just cut all the extra things out and keep it as performant as possible. But yeah, I mean, we spent a good amount of time like bouncing back and forth with Piero about the animated images because really what you see there, the animated versions, they are not that big. They are about the size as any other thumbnail would be, like less than half a megabyte, way less than half a megabyte for one.
No,
Absolutely, and we had to like find the rules that Magic Eden uses internally to optimize that. So like the goal was to have the most beautiful static image first, even
Yeah.
if it meant some less quality animation afterwards. So yeah, we really try to have the best static image because that's what most users will see in the end, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Because I don't think really even on standard PC that it's quite easy to load even dozens of images,
yeah.
animated images. Like I don't feel it's, but maybe it's for slow connections. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. And also, one thing that people don't realize also about these laser eyes, we're going to talk a little bit more in detail after, but you have this mechanism where people can get dynamically the trade, the laser eyes trade. But here, there is no way of showing that on the Magic Eden page if this piece got the laser eyes, it's also shown on the Magic Eden collection. So that's also a little bit sad to me, but I guess that we're still very early to have these kind of interactive ways of displaying collections. It's for sure, and we already got this problem with light waves by Kinetic. So yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's go through then all the features, because I think that a lot of people don't know about them all, and it'd be cool to for you guys, Piero and Shaderism, to talk a little bit more about it, and for you, Base Chain, to just tell us if you already seen this in another collection, what do you think about it, etc. Okay, so I have here the web page in Vivid. And the first thing that I noted here, it was the synchronization with Bitcoin. What kind of Bitcoin data are you using, and how does it work?
So I decided to keep it fairly simple to understand rather than like using kind of complex algorithms to make some one value. I decided to use the fee rate, transaction count, and then the block size. And each of those are affecting one specific thing. So the fee rate affects the lighting and the background color. The transaction count affects how quickly. So let's say there's 4,000, or if I'm just loading up mempool now, we have on the next block 4,000 transactions. So I'm comparing that to the previous blocks, and then using that as the kind of a multiplier for how quickly the character is moving around.
I'm
So
showing
yeah, you need to go
now.
to animate character, exactly. So this is how quickly the character is moving, and then the transaction, or the block size rather, that's like how big of the movement it is. So the most extreme case would be that transaction count is very high compared to the previous blocks, and then the block size is very large also compared to the previous blocks. So then we would get a character that is moving very quickly and very big movements. And the reason why I want to do it that way, that we compare to the last blocks, is that it's impossible to estimate what's gonna be kind of the state of Bitcoin blockchain in the future. It could be that the amount of transactions goes way down because all the transactions happen on layer twos or something like that. Or it could go the other way. And the same with the block size. Currently the maximum block size is 4 megabytes, but it could grow. Who knows? So I couldn't lock that in to be a specific value that if there's 4,000 transactions, it moves this quickly. It needs to be like comparing it to the previous blocks. But then with the fee rate, at least as long as, if I understood it correctly, I think I did, is that the fee rates, they will not really change. They always kind of range in this, like one sat per VB is always going to be cheap, and 50 sats per VB is always going to be kind of expensive. So those are kind of locked as a not some kind of like a threshold.
And Piero, can you please give some maybe more details or at least resources for people that want to do these kind of things? Because I know that a lot of artists are interested in it, but not many use it because they just don't know. I received some messages, for example, on X, like, oh yeah, I wanted to play also with this blockchain data, but I can't find anything. What are your recommendations?
I recommend the official Ordinals doc. So you go on docs.ordinals.com. Or if you're on ordinals.com already, there is a little book, which is the documentation. And then you have a category called recursion on the left side. And you will have a list of all the endpoints. Yep, exactly. All the endpoints that you can call within your code. And specifically also example of data that you can get. So with these, you can do pretty much everything you want. Then you also need to have some knowledge about the Bitcoin blockchain, how it works. For example, if you don't know what a UTXO is, or a block, or what a transaction size is, or this kind of stuff, well, you need to learn it, of course, to use it, because this is pretty Bitcoin specific stuff.
Yeah,
but
I'd say
otherwise,
like for me,
yeah.
I was just gonna say that for me, like I understood roughly how the network works before starting to work on this collection, but for sure, like having to spend a lot of time kind of looking at the values and understanding like what does it actually mean, it was like a very fun learning experience. And I don't know if you are Gerard, if you're able to kind of open the chat, but I posted there one ordinals.com link. So using the same recursive endpoints that Piero mentioned there, I've just taken the latest block that has been mined, and then like opening that link, you will see this kind of data that we get by calling this recursive endpoint. And yeah, like as Piero said, then you're gonna have a lot of random values like max transaction size 24,000 that maybe it doesn't make any sense to you now, but then you can find articles that kind of explain what do all these values mean, and then try to incorporate that into your work in a way that is meaningful for you.
You're
Or
talking
the
about
work
this?
itself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So what's that? Because I'm not sure to understand it.
Yeah.
Don't
you
have
don't
a
seem to
pretty
have this
print?
kind of.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I can't see the pretty print up there for some reason. Maybe it's the
Okay.
browser
Oh,
that does.
I
Okay, there we
activated
go.
the pretty
It's a bit
print.
easier to read. Yeah.
Okay, and if I do this, okay, now it works. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what is so that's the block info of this specific block, and you can
Which is
use
currently the latest block. Yeah.
okay, and you can use all this data in your artwork
Exactly.
if you want. Okay,
Exactly.
okay,
So there you see that the second last value is the transaction count. So that's the value that I'm using for the animation speed.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great. And what do you think, Bastian? Do you think that that there is really a lot to explore with these recursion endpoints in terms of artwork. Do you think that it can become this new category of art, using blockchain data and blockchain as a medium? Because we saw it a little bit on Ethereum, but it didn't seem like it took the I don't know, the importance that, at least from our perspective, it's taking here on Bitcoin. A lot of people are liking it on Bitcoin. I don't know why it's different, maybe, but maybe that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually had high hopes on the Ethereum side, but it seems that people didn't embrace the tech as much as I would like. Here on Bitcoin, I think that the appetite for that is a lot bigger, but we just don't have enough examples of artists that are utilizing these endpoints. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know of maybe a handful of projects that are actively utilizing all these endpoints, and three of them are Vivid projects. So I mean, Perot, you're I mean, keep building, man. I mean, you're showing
Thanks.
people the way. But I think it's projects like this that are going to demonstrate to collectors and to artists that there's just so much more we can do with art on the chain, and art that can only exist on Bitcoin. And I think we're going to see more and more of that as artists keep demonstrating and new endpoints are being added. Maybe some. I can't say exactly, but I know a few weeks ago there were new endpoints added. CyberSea was talking about exploring those. So to see that utilized here, and I'd never seen the screen that you pulled up before from ordinals.com/r with all that data. And that was the first for me, seeing that visualized, and now it all makes sense. It's just fantastic, and it takes people experimenting, basically, is what this is. Experimenting with this data for then someone else to see that what the possibilities are. And you guys are pushing boundaries for sure. I love to see it, and I can't wait to see who utilizes these endpoints next, and what they do with them.
Yeah, well, I think that a lot of people are also realizing, and maybe I'm just the one fantasizing about this, but I consider that Bitcoin is here to stay, and it's gonna live longer than any of us here, and it's a way also of ensuring that even your artwork still evolves once you're not here anymore, and that's super cool. I think that just the symbolic of this, it's really really deep, because I guess that's also one of the main goals of every artist, just to have your art live longer than you, and through recursive endpoints you can use that. And it's gonna be funny, I think, to see also maybe people that did it on purpose, or maybe just forget what Shaderism was talking about before, to taking into account the possibilities of the evolution of what can happen on the blockchain, and maybe just see some crazy results because I don't know, it just go too fast, or something
Yeah.
like this happen. But yeah, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be very funny, but it's gonna be in, in a long time. We'll see. Okay, well, really cool. I invite everyone then to just go to ordinals.com, as we show here, with the recursion page where you can see all the endpoints. And if you are excited, just as Pierrot and Shaderism, maybe you are not going to celebrate birthdays anymore, but maybe new recursive endpoints. That's gonna be your thing.
Absolutely. It's a celebration day. Every day there is a new odd version. And I can see the change log and there's a new endpoint. What can we do with that?
Exactly. Yeah. Pierrot goes to his girlfriend and say, "Oh, come on! There is a new post by Casey. Let's go. I can't go to the date. I'm sorry." Uh, but yeah, okay, guys. And I also had a little bit of fun. I don't know why it's not loading here. Maybe I'm trying to reload it. Okay, now I think it's working. It takes a little bit of time, but yeah, I talked a little bit about Jeff Koons. And also, I liked it because some people contacted me and said, "Oh yeah, I see the Jeff Koons inspiration." Was it really that big of an inspiration for you, Shaderism, or was it just like, okay, I'm playing with something and somehow I just ended up having more or less of the same, result? How was it?
I saw a couple of people asking like, is this actual Jeff Koons like collaboration?
Ah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Some people
it
asked that.
was, yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see that.
Yep.
um, honestly, yeah, like it was like before things were kind of finalized. I knew, like, obviously, I knew of Jeff Koons' work for a long time, and so it was kind of an intentional part of inspiration, but not a massive one. It was more like I wanted to make these kind of characters that feel like they are kind of physical, made of something. Another one, like I was thinking of many different kind of materials, and obviously clay or that this kind of Play-Doh is like very typical, as we saw on maybe both of you remember in Paris there was the dinosaurs made of clay, the big booth at
Yeah.
the center, right? So making these kind of animated characters from clay is very typical. That was one of my ideas. I had other ones to kind of make some kind of robots out of metal pieces, and as you see here, they are like characters that are made from gold, and others that look more metallic, and so on. Um, but then, yeah, I just bumped into, rather than first bumping into Jeff Koons, I saw like, oh yeah, of course, people make a lot of different characters and props out of balloons, and it's like a very simple shape. All of the shapes are like, in theory, kind of the same. It's just a curve, and maybe has a different thickness, but so that way I kind of got into looking in the balloons. Like usually, like when I look for inspiration, I go to Pinterest and then I maybe make a board and start pinning things there. And obviously, when you start looking at balloon animals,
Of
very
course.
quickly you're gonna see Jeff Koons, right? And I did at some point I did try to make like a, I think that was like one of the first tests was a balloon dog, but obviously like it was just to test how it seems like. Does it look similar to Jeff Koons? Balloon character, but it wasn't that. Oh, I would try to copy. It was yeah. Immediately, I was like, obviously, I'm not gonna go that direction. But that's kind of the size of inspiration that it maybe brought into the project. So I'm gonna, if I say a number, I'm gonna say it was 10% of the inspiration.
Okay, well, that's great then, because some people thought that that it was even in collaboration, as you said. I was like, no, 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 this is something completely different. No worries. But yeah, okay. Well, let's go then to the interactive 3D PFP. For me, that was also very interesting because uh, a lot of people may or may not consider this an actual artwork, and some other people may just look at it as a PFP. But at least to us, it is really an art collection, and it has everything that it needs to. But yeah, here you decided to create an interactive PFP, but also to allow people to play with the actual content. What was the objective behind that? Because I noticed that you checked all of the other PFP collections on Magic Eden, and then you found out that maybe you could do a little bit more with it, right? With the concept.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw like many of the things, like let's say some collection would have 3D printing functionality, and another one would have some kind of data usage from blockchain. But I felt like I kind of want to try to bring all of these together and also at the same time kind of elevate the visual quality, that it looks like something that, yeah, like looks like something that could be made from a Blender, like from a like offline rendering 3D package. Um, but yeah, like my background, like all my arts on blockchains are something that is animated, and most of them are interactive as well. And because I come from WebGL background, for me this kind of interactivity is very important, and like the whole thing about playfulness, that is like one of the core kind of things that I'm trying to make in my art play, basically things that you can explore. And also because of this, the fact that I could bring blockchain data into it, means that there's always in theory something new that you can explore, rather than some static image. It could be that you look at it 10 times and then you kind of have seen everything that it has to offer. So because of that, the this kind of interactivity was like important for me to get in there. And yeah, it's just, I felt like there are not, at least that I didn't know of, this kind of PFP collection where it almost feels like it is a video game. Like you have this kind of Tamagotchi that lives
Yeah.
within a browser that you can kind of like look at and be like, oh, okay, it's looking at my mouse. Oh, it's spinning this way because I do this thing.
Yeah, Polymath, I remember during that show, he said, "Oh my God, it's following my mouse. How do you do that?" And actually, it's funny, but it really gives you another dimension to the experience because here, I was just looking at all the details here, how the eyes move, also, behind the glasses, and you can just look at all the details, and it just feels like you have it here with you. And I wonder, I wonder, please, Piero, how technical it is to create dynamic things here on the blockchain. Because when it's generative art, it's generated on your browser, right? So at the end of the day, it doesn't change that much that it's on the blockchain or not. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
What's really difficult is packaging the code in a way that makes sense and that's easy
Okay.
to then inscribe and make cheap to inscribe,
Mm.
especially with this collection because there is that's maybe the last point, but the soulmate,
Yeah.
there is a soulmate feature, and so we had two choices basically. Use a trick to have every inscription be inscribed on the same in the same transaction. So then it's easy to find another one. It's just the same plus an offset, Otherwise, if you inscribe them in multiple transactions, then you need intermediate ancillary inscription to gap the bridge between the different inscriptions. So there is some trickery involved here to be able to inscribe 800 of them in a single transaction.
Hmm.
Main thing is we inscribe them on a single output and we separate them later, but also some optimizations with like the delegates and stuff like that.
Mm. And there is
Um,
also some work on the browser thing. I always remember seeing some conversations about, oh yeah, this is not working on this browser, or what happened here. And you also need to check a lot of different things for that, right? Or not?
Absolutely, yeah. We check on every browser, every possible devices that we have. Shaderism is very also technology advanced. Let's say he knows this stuff, so it's easy to work with him and like provide test environments. I know Dra, you tested. We all tested on our
Yeah.
different devices to make sure it was working, and that's very important for us that we test everywhere.
Yeah. So sometimes
Yeah,
I feel
but
bad.
that's I was gonna say that that's obviously not related to like inscriptions or blockchain. It is just something that if you imagine all of these things, is in theory a website. So even if you inscribe an image, what you see is actually a website. So when like me and Piero, we have a background that we know how to make websites, and then it's just normal to optimize that it should work on every device. So yeah, it's not really related to inscribing. It's more about like
Mm.
developing websites, right? That it's just
Yeah.
a habit to, okay, I have my phone lying around here. I should probably open it on my phone as well and see that it works there.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel
Well,
bad,
I would.
when you have everything ready and I open it and I'm like, oh my God, something doesn't work. And I give it to you. And like, oh shit, here we go again. But yeah, Bastian, what are you going to say? And I'm also going to ask a question for you. Do you think that there is a lack of demand to this kind of technical stuff here in the Ordinals and the art ecosystem here in Web3 art? Or do you just think that people don't care about it and maybe don't have the technical knowledge to think about all of this when they inscribe artwork on chain?
Yeah, that's what I was the point I was going to make. Going back to the care that was taken to ensure that these rendered correctly on different devices, different OSs, different browsers. I think that level of detail is pretty rare in the ordinal space. But I do think that there is a subset of collectors that really value that. And just to go back to a previous point that was made, that that this is not art, it's a PFP. I don't know who said that because I look at it the opposite way. first I look at it as art first, not just art, but interactive, dynamic art that can only exist on Bitcoin. And the reason I say it can only exist on Bitcoin is because you're using all the data from Bitcoin. So it's Bitcoin specific dynamic art. And then secondary, it's a PFP. So yeah, it makes for a great PFP, but this is art. This is what I want to see. And another point that was talked about earlier is how efficiently these were inscribed. And we're not really paying attention to that today because fees are really low. One or two sats of EB. But when we get to a high fee environment, sustained high fee environment, people are going to be looking for ways to inscribe, and you guys are just demonstrating that this can be done. So yeah, I believe there's an appetite for it, but it's a small subset of the collector market. But that's why we're here. We're here to educate people, to show them that there is a content link on Magic Eden. Number one, a lot of people don't even know that exists, and that number two, you're laughing, that you can actually play around with the inscription and customize it, if you will, based on different block data. So for instance, on mine here on my screen, I pulled up Brett's recent block where there were only 2 transactions, block 886339, and it's just a really slow 886339. Yeah, this was Brett from Gamma. They kind of owned that block a few days ago. Maybe it was yesterday. Time flies. But it just makes my inflatable render really slow. And if you look at the data from that block, that'll explain a lot. So yeah, I think it's just demonstrations like this, and more importantly, having artists and developers, that are willing to push boundaries and willing to do things that others aren't doing, and combine that with the detail that you guys took to make sure these render across all platforms. To me, that adds a lot of value here, and I see it as just beautiful, generative, dynamic art on Bitcoin that can only exist on Bitcoin.
Yeah, no,
I'm glad to hear that, because obviously I've been thinking about the same, that is this a PFP collection or is it art collection, and like adding a bit more background to it. Obviously, like I've been focusing on more creating art collections. Like this is my first kind of touch into PFPs at all, really. So that was the kind of consideration. Like I don't like, do I kind of jump into, is this like a fully PFP collection or not? And I did try to kind of make a thing which would somehow stand like right in the center. Like it's kind of hard to tell like which one is it.
It's a hybrid. That's exactly what it is.
It is.
And
yeah.
There are other examples of hybrids. Of course, On-Chain Monkey is a hybrid. Chat Fucker from Harvey Rayner is a hybrid.
Yeah.
On the DMT side, the Royals, they're a hybrid. But I think accomplished artists, may not want to dip their toes into the PFP market because, for various reasons. But as a collector, while I use this as a PFP, so obviously it works as such. That's not the first thing that comes to mind when I see this. It's the furthest thing that comes to mind. Like, this is art on Bitcoin. That's it.
Let's go. Well, I find it funny that because for us, now it's natural that we have to scroll down and to check the content. And it's funny that a lot of people may not even know that, and that the actual content. So what you want to see when you go to Magic Eden, when you go to just look at the piece, it's down here. You need to go here to look at it. Like you don't even have...
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, just a small button here or whatever, you just see it full screen and then it opens the actual content. So that's crazy.
I was surprised. Honestly, like how many times I had to post that on X or our Discord to show, like I recorded the video, like, okay, you just browse down there. And then I realized actually, especially on phone, you need to go really down that you can actually find the content link compared to. I don't want to like bash Magic Eden too much because obviously they've done fantastic product that works in some ways, but there are so many marketplaces where the content link is right under the image, and then it's easy to open it full screen and see how it's actually meant to be shown, rather than this is kind of like the preview of it. You don't really. I can't think of a very quick example. Like if you go to a gallery opening and then you have a leaflet printed out, but only thing you stare at the art gallery opening is the leaflet, not on the walls. That's kind of like missing most of the point of the art. If the only way that you're gonna consume the art is in this like tiny thumbnail format.
Yeah, but I guess that this is also helpful for a lot of collections.
What is that?
Well,
What is that?
That's the actual content.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
What?
no,
I can't see that.
this is because it's not rendered well by Magic Eden, right? But if I go
Yeah.
to ordinals.com,
It should be upscaled.
Bigger.
yeah, exactly. Ordinals.com, yeah, exactly, because it upscaled it automatically when it's
Because people need to read the docs. This is written in the docs. This is part of the official protocol. Yeah.
Wait a second. Wait a second, Perot. Wait just a second. Do you mean to tell me that there are docs like this exist? You mean that there is an ordinal theory handbook?
Yeah, absolutely. And you
You
can access
might be
it on
surprised.
ordinal.gallery. And you can read the rules and understand what's going on. It's crazy, man. Really, everything's written down.
Okay, so when you when you own a Node Monkey, basically what you own is this. I don't know how many pixels per how many. Well, no, it's funny because when you open the actual content, it really looks weird. So that's kind of funny. So I guess that would create very very good reactions on X if the content button was very accessible and people open their PFP and are like, what happened here? Comparison to, okay, I'm opening and I
Wow.
see this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So just to interrupt, I don't own a Node Monk, so I've never been to their content link, but I'm having a hard time seeing it on my screen here. Yeah, that's really small.
I mean, that's
Versus,
that was the whole point of Node Monks, I guess, the collection, that it is like as compressed PFP as you can make it to be,
Yeah.
right? And if you would scale it up to be the right size, then it would look all right.
Yeah. No, but at least, you can also, I think it's important for people just to also go check their collections. But for example, here we see Quantum Cuts. Well, the inscription is quite good resolution. It's not super high, but it would have costed a lot, of course, but it's not super tiny or super pixelated. So that's good. Also,
Yeah.
same thing for Ordinals Maxi as well. No, it's not that big as you can see here. Maybe it's like half the size or something like this. So it also gives you an indication of how much was spent to inscribe this kind of art, and also to realize if maybe what you have been seeing every time here, it's completely different from what's really inscribed, because here people can display off-chain images. But it also works in the opposite way. It's not always bad. For example, when you go to see Looming Emotion, Inflatables, Deus Ex Machina, those are pieces that when you go to the actual content, wow, then you discover a whole new experience. So yeah, I just invite people to go check the actual content, but it's funny, and I think that we'll have a lot of surprises if people look at that a little more often. I actually need to do that for the top 10.
Yeah, for sure. Just
can you see what
bit of a,
On-Chain Monkey looks like real quick? I'd like to see the OCM in there.
while you do that, bit of a life hack. You don't need to even go down to the content link. You can do that, but then also in the URL from the Magic Eden, you can see the inscription ID, and then obviously when you have the inscription ID, you can access it in any kind of website.
Yeah. So here, for example, we see is also the animation. We have everything, the construction. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And because OCM is done with code, obviously it's the same thing that you would have a 4K screen, and it's gonna be pixel perfect compared to like PFPs that are inscribed as an image. Maybe it's a tiny one, and then you look at a big screen and you see that okay, it's full of JPEG compression, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. But maybe just something interesting is that pixel art is still supported in the sense that in the protocol it's really said that if you do pixel art, there should be an upscaling that doesn't do any compression or upscaling. So you really get the same pixel that you have. You just need
Yeah.
to display them bigger. So pixel art still, let's say, beautiful even at big resolutions.
Okay. So, okay. Because here I think I'm realizing something. So here they missed maybe a part during the inscription, or maybe it wasn't available at that time. Because I know that when you have pixel art, usually it automatically shows it well. Why is it like this then?
I just think it depends on your browser because you're opening just an image.
Okay.
But the protocol specifies that it should be using a pixelated. I think it's the
Because here
image
it's good. Yeah.
upscaling pixelated property, so that it looks good. There is no like upscaling artifacts or whatever.
Okay.
So
Great.
maybe it's just when you go on the content, you get the raw content from ordinals.com,
Yeah, that's the
and it's
real one.
not
Okay.
displayed as it should.
Okay. I understand it. Okay. Well, perfect then. Okay, great. Well, guys, I also think that we should talk now that we are here on Magic Eden, and for that, actually, Magic Eden it's really useful for the soulmates. At least from my side, I find it very easy to do.
Yeah.
So,
It's
tell
good.
us a little bit about the soulmate feature, and then we will demonstrate that here on the screen.
Yeah, maybe you go back to the whole inflatables collection that we see some that have the permanent laser eyes. So like we mentioned, these are actually images that your browser doesn't or your machine doesn't explode when it's trying to create all of these characters with code. So you see some of them have already laser eyes, red eyes on them. But that's from the if he has an attribute called has like a permanent laser eyes.
Exactly.
In that case, it will render the version that we provided as an image to Magic Eden. It has the red eyes. Then otherwise, obviously, we don't want to be sending the images constantly to Magic Eden. If someone makes a transaction, it could be that one of them or there is a new soulmate pair, and then we would need to update the images, and it's just too much work.
Of
But
course, but how does
so
it work, the soulmates? Because here you are
yeah,
assuming that
yeah.
everybody knows.
Right. So yeah, I started from kind of a tail end there, I guess. But soulmates, it's one aspect of the Ordinals protocol that I wanted to use, which is the fact that you can check what wallets the inscription is currently in. So to add this kind of fun kind of gamification that people can trade inflatables and find the one that they kind of like or so on, I want to add something like this aspect of collecting a group of inflatables, and I call those soulmates. So we have 800 inflatables total, and to keep it kind of simple, we divided it into 100 groups. So then again, if we go back to the you can see there the attributes. We have a soulmate group, and it lists 8 different IDs that are in the same group. So to make it simple, it's just the inflatable number 100, 200, 300, 400, and so on are in the same group. So then you can say like, oh, I have the inflatable from the group 46, and then you can try to find another one that is in the same group. So right there, Gerard used the filters from Magic Eden. We added these soulmate group trait filters, and you can see that there's 8 inflatables in the same group. And what happens if you get 2 of those in the same wallet? The laser eyes activates. So it doesn't change the permanent laser eyes attributes, but the inflatable, when you open the contents, or in this case, even within the Magic Eden site for that specific inflatable, it will have laser eyes.
Exactly. So, for example,
Yeah.
if I'm the owner of this inflatable, well, not this one because it has permanent laser eyes, but let me just take this random one. And so I'm the owner of this one. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't get the. Oh, he also got the permanent laser eyes.
I
uh,
think
how many there are?
you
Like,
might be. Are you filtering? Are you
I'm
filtering by
already
laser eye?
filtering. I'm already filtering. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's take this one. Doesn't have the permanent laser eyes, and I believe that there are like 60 maybe permanent laser eyes. So little bit less
Yeah,
than
50,
50. Okay.
50, 60. Yeah.
So I have this one, and that's cool. So I'm the owner of this one. I want to find my soulmates, and also to see if it's gonna be easy for me to gather a soulmate in the same wallet. Well, just need to go here, and it if you click on it, it will automatically redirect you to the Magic Eden collection page where you already have the filters, and you can see, oh, okay, I have this one, and there is this other one that's listed. Maybe if I'm interested, I can buy this one. Oh, or I have no luck, there is no one listing. So yeah, that's easy, at least for Magic Eden. So yeah, good experience from that side. I don't know if you, Base Chain, have you tried this? Because I remember that you also wanted to get the laser eyes maybe, and maybe you, because yours doesn't have the laser eyes, if I remember.
Not yet, it doesn't. But I'm working on a trade with someone
Yeah, it's
to
good.
acquire one of my soulmates so that I can have those laser eyes. And on another note, I haven't seen this in another collection. That doesn't mean that someone hasn't done it. But this is my first experience where my ordinal changes based on what another ordinal that may be in my wallet. And I think that's really unique and adds a dynamic factor to the art that a lot of people may be overlooking because people just aren't experimenting with this. So I'd love for
Yeah.
someone to point me to another ordinal collection that has utilized a similar mechanic.
Well, we already did it with Lightwaves, right, Pierrot?
Absolutely.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it with Lightwaves
Yeah, I
with the same.
mean,
Similar mechanic.
it was kind of inspired, obviously, by light waves and kind of even learning from Kinetics's experience of it being kind of difficult to find the soulmates, in his case, neighbors. I decided that, okay, we'll try to make it a bit more easy, like having this way that it's 8 in the same group and it doesn't need to be a specific neighbor. It should make it a bit easier. But yeah, it's just another aspect of this kind of art on blockchain that is very unique to blockchain based art. Like I remember seeing on Ethereum, there was some collection where if you send the NFT to another person in like Transacti, if you sell it, the quality of it drops, or maybe like something like this. And then at the end of the day, you might have an NFT which is empty. So in similar way, like I want to kind of explore and showcase here, like this kind of fun aspect of blockchain based art that you can't really do anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, I know that CyberC is also going very deep into that with the connection mechanism. People are going to be able to connect their Enigma to
Yeah.
another piece, and that's why it's also super important to maybe put this in the metadata, also in the inscription, so people remember it and have a place to find that information. And when you start doing these kind of things, at least from my perspective, I realized that uh, everything automatic doesn't work if you want to be innovative here, and that's maybe the problem that we have in this space, that we also try to automatize everything with marketplaces, etc. But if you want to innovate, if you want to create something new, well, you will not be able to for example, on Enigma here, to allow people to just mint it randomly. No, they have to send the information like, okay, I want to mint a piece and I want it to connect to this one. Okay, we do the inscriptions from our side and then we send the pieces. Otherwise, you need to create something just specific for this, as it's not worth it. So yeah, I also think that there might be a lack of interest from the creator side by these kind of features, because you need more people. You actually need a team, or at least people helping you to be able to create a project like this one, because otherwise alone you just shoot yourself. I think that it's too hard
Yeah.
to do everything alone. But yeah, no luck, no luck base chain. No one is listing a soulmate.
But I think
I
that's
have I
also the beauty of Bitcoin is because it's so permissive. And Ordinals also embrace this philosophy of being very permissive, and you can do a lot of things. You're not on rails. You don't have guardrails or whatever keeping you away from innovating. But that's on the other side of the coin is that it can be more difficult to work with or to have some automated marketplaces tools working.
Yeah. Base chain, you want to say
Did
something?
you, by the way, a question to base chain? Did you find those filters on Magic Eden already? Like, was it kind of easy to understand that you can find the one that you might be looking for in that way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Cool.
going back to light waves and kinetics, you have to remember it's really early for me in the AM here, and I'm half a coffee deep with some interesting developments at my home last night or outside of my home. So yeah, I was aware of that, and I've found my soulmates, and I believe I've tracked down the owner of one of my soulmates. So maybe in the next 24 hours, we're going to see the golden crown with
Ooh.
some laser eyes.
Man, if you get you get the laser eyes for this amazing piece. I think that you have the top one in the collection for sure.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. Like I really
I
love
was
it.
looking through it, and there's three crowns that have the special styles. I believe that's what they're labeled as styles. So you've got the ordinal style, you've got obsidian, and then you've got golden. And within each one of those, each one has one crown. So
Oh yeah, okay.
each special style, yeah. So
Yeah.
it is a
Yeah.
pretty rare piece. I'm proud of it, and
Ah yeah, there is
it'll
only
stay in my.
oh, and this one has permanent laser eyes. Oh, that's a very cool one too. Then this obsidian.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have the sword. Well, that's your battle companion, man. You have the sword and this guy has the gun. You know, you need to find this person. Oh my god.
Sword, crown, laser eyes, gold. Doesn't get
Yeah.
much better than that.
No, it's amazing. So yeah, congratulations again. But yeah, that's something that I love about Magic Eden. From this side, it's really great experience. And I'm actually talking. Yesterday I had a talk with someone the Magic Eden team, and we're pushing to see if we can have maybe some new features for art on Bitcoin on the Magic Eden marketplace, because today, for example, it's so hard for an art it's so hard for an art collection to be featured in the tops. And that's sad, because sometimes, when we have a Vivid sale, you're gonna see the collection here, in the top 20, 25. But most of the people just look at the top 10, and it's always the same thing unless there is a new drop.
Yeah.
And we managed to get in there on the 24-hour stop with Inflatables. But yeah, you're there for an hour, for a few hours. People may notice it, maybe not. But wouldn't it be great to have here an art category, or every type of category of ordinals to be featuring here? Well, so maybe
Yeah, and
maybe
I think it would be. I think it would be easy also. Like, obviously, some people might be saying that then, well, how do you decide what is PFP and what is arts, right? Like, where does
that's exactly
inflatables
what he
go?
told me. That's
But
exactly what he told me. We need to find a solution. If we have a solution here, let's go.
I mean, the solution is that you can pick yourself which one you want to be in, right? Like, if you decide that your collection is art, then it will not appear in the PFPs, right?
Exactly, yeah. So that's first solution, but then it means that they need to add every category. And the problem is that we are so early that there are not maybe that many collections or projects in every category, because I know in the creators page you have like art, PFP, gaming, utility. I don't know exactly what are the categories, but you have like 5 or 6 categories. So yeah, that would be a solution. But also a good solution, maybe just to have a kind of an application system where you say, okay, I'm an artist, I want to be featured in there. and that would make Magic Eden, also part of the creation process where they have applications and artists want to get the art category for their page, because it means that they will have increased visibility because they will be on this category that can be shown in here. So that'd be amazing, So yeah, we're fighting for this. We will see if it happens.
And personally, I haven't used Gamma, but obviously it's good that we have Gamma also as a marketplace. And it seems like, at least what I've been following on X recently, that they are really shipping and trying to make a place which is good for artists. So it's good to have obviously like not only one really credible marketplace, because then if one innovates on something, then it kind of pushes the other one to innovate also.
Yeah, no, that's great. But yeah, the problem is also like we love what they're doing at Gamma, but I don't know exactly why. But even people that release on Gamma, then all the collectors just ask for it to be listed on Magic Eden to trade there.
Listed, yeah.
So I don't know what's happening there, but maybe I understood it when there was this diamond thing and people expecting for the airdrop. But yeah, I don't know why. Maybe you as a collector, what do you think, Bastian? Is it that horrible to use different marketplaces, or how does it feel for you?
No, I don't think it's horrible at all. But I think just to relate to the NFT scene, everyone kind of defaulted to OpenSea, and then Blur came along. So I think in this case, Magic Eden has the volume, Magic Eden has the liquidity, but Gamma's really been stepping it up lately. Nick and Brett over there, building great relationships with artists, doing a great job of onboarding new artists, which is vital, and giving them a platform. But yeah, I think ultimately it just comes down to people know Magic Eden, so they want to see collections live on Magic Eden, but could be an opportunity for Gamma to step it up and differentiate themselves, and maybe make Gamma the art focus. But I think Magic Eden will come around. They'll adapt. We do need an art category of some sort. In this case, perhaps a generative art category, because looking through, at least on ordinals.com or through the content link, one thing I also noticed with Inflatables is all the metadata is fully on chain. Like, wow, that's awesome. So I think there's, again, it comes down to collector education, and a lot of collectors just may not understand that all the code, everything needed to generate Inflatables is fully on chain, and that's really powerful. So yeah, I think in time Magic Eden is gonna pivot and give the collectors what they want, because at the end of the day, art like this, it will be traded, but it's not going to be traded with the veracity that that an everyday PFP project is going to be traded with. So, naturally, we're going to have less volume, so not as likely to make these top 10 lists where people like to look for liquidity. But that's the difference with art on Bitcoin. The people that are collecting this art, they're not just looking to, generally speaking, they're not looking to just flip it and list it and move on to the next thing. Like, we're proud to hold these things. These are technical innovations, and in the future, we're going to look back and see who was innovating, who put the code fully on chain, who put the metadata fully on chain. That's going to be attractive to collectors in the future, even if there's relatively smaller volume, on these art collections. But I love to see it.
That's a huge topic, actually, because it's true. Magic Eden and every other marketplaces, they live on this trading volume business model, and of course, if you want to help artists, usually, well, if they are well collected, you won't have a lot of volume if you have good collectors. So it's counterintuitive to work on these kind of features. But maybe there is another way to explore a business model for marketplaces there. What if I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, but what if you have a kind of collector subscription to Magic Eden that you pay every month to have access to this art category where it's extremely well made, and it shows maybe more information, or I don't know, something like this, that it's also going to incentivize marketplaces to work on that side. Because otherwise, I understand them. They also have a business to run. It's a hard market. There are priorities. So how do you finance feature improvement for marketplaces in the art ecosystem? There needs to be something. I don't know. I don't know how.
That's a really good question. I don't know that getting collectors to pay for that is the answer. I think we just need to make more noise as collectors and let Magic Eden know why we're here. PFPs are a part of culture. They're not going away. But at the end of the day, how many PFPs can one collect? I want to see the art. I want to see the generative art. I want to see innovative art. I want to see dynamic art. I want to see things like what Shaderism is doing here. I think in time, it's only natural that we see another category for this, because collectors are ultimately going to demand it.
Yeah, and I just want to add there, like, as a obviously kind of fully onboarded blockchain artist already, you don't need to like invite me into the space, but I can imagine that if you are an artist that is kind of living outside of releasing work outside of the ecosystem of art on blockchain, art on Bitcoin, and then you come to Magic Eden and all you see is PFPs, it's maybe not the easiest kind of sell for you if you think that, okay, my art is something that is credible and I want to put it on Bitcoin, but then you go to the website, which is the number one website on art on Bitcoin, and all you see are PFPs. You might be kind of thinking like, well, is this where my art should go?
Yeah.
True. Yeah, 100%.
Same with Gamma, honestly, but a bit different because they have a great system, honestly, the dynamic minting. It's very easy for artists to put out collection, but that's the thing, there is everything on that. And so I guess as an artist, when you go and see Gamma, you see some gems inside a lot of content.
Yeah, but that's the lack of
and
curation, and
there's a lack of curation.
that's a big problem of this of the Web3 art market. Ecosystem. And I was talking actually with a kind of curator before the show. We were talking about the exact same thing. There is just a huge a gap between the amount of marketplaces, platform, etc., and projects that really curate artists collections and that are going to showcase this information properly. Because at the end of the day, if you are a collector but that you do not spend your entire day on Magic Eden, on X, in the space, and so you don't have that much time to look for this information, where how do you do? You are not going to be able to discover every piece of art that's released there. So you need to have a kind of filter, a person, a project that you trust,
Absolutely.
because you share the
I
same.
know a website for that. It's called Vivid.gallery.
Yeah.
And there is a nice list of created work there.
Exactly. Well, that's what we are trying to do, and I believe that more people are going that way because they are realizing that there is a huge need for that. At least from the collector side. I don't know if you agree, Base Chain, but that's my feeling.
Yeah, 100%. Well, my saying is, if you don't know art, know your curator. And a great example of that, where I utilize that here recently is my friend did on Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
Recently launched a project called Higgs, and the curator of that project is Steven Santoro, who's also a friend of mine. And Higgs had over 15,000 outputs that you could select from to then go and mint. And I just didn't have time to go through all of these outputs and find the ones that I liked, but I knew that I wanted some of these. So I DM'd Steven. I said, hey, I know you know this project up and down. Shoot me some outputs that you like. And sure enough, he did, sent me 7 or 8. and I went through them, and I picked a couple that I like because I trust his judgment in art. So I think we're going to evolve to that as well, where curation is going to become the name of the game, because there's just going to be so much art out there, and it's so hard to find. And as a collector, there's nothing more aggravating to me than to find an artist that I like, to follow that artist, and then to get DMs from that artist saying, "Hey, I'm minting here, I'm minting there." It's almost invasive.
Yeah.
I want to be able to discover things more on my own. And I think that's one thing that we've really done well at Vivid over the last couple of years, is we've developed an art community. And that art community is sharing art with others, art that we find interesting, whether it's from a aesthetic or from a technical perspective, or maybe they're just doing something different and unique. And I think in the future that's how we're going to find our art. So we're going to know our curators better, and we're going to trust their judgment on things that they like, and then we will all become curators. And that happens a lot to me with people that I follow on X. I'll see posts from them of art that they've minted, and a great example is a collector called 808, who also minted some inflatables, at least one. But I really trust his judgment, and if you go through our collections, you'll find that we've got a lot of similar pieces. I'm not looking for an echo chamber. That's not the point. But there are people that have been around a long time that I really like their eye for art, and they're the modern day curators. And I think we're going to see more of that as time goes on.
I think it makes sense. And people are looking for that too. And it always happened. So I don't think that there is a lack of collectors. To be honest, I think that they have been tired of just the amount of information and the difficulty to find something that they really want to collect. But yeah, that's a hard work. And in my ideal world, you have marketplaces that focus only on the marketplace thing and then just improve features there. And then you have the exact opposite thing. Projects like Vivid were trying, to look for the right artists, to look for the right collections to release. Of course, it's subjective, but that's the thing. And find collectors that share the same taste as us, and just present them these new collections. And maybe they are not going to like these collections or these artists, but at least they trust us in order to listen to us, maybe for 5-10 minutes, which is a lot already, but if you can have this kind of attention from a good collector, well, to me, it's an enormous opportunity for an artist. So yeah, I think that's the way to go, and we will see if people also think that way and create more projects like this.
Well, it's inevitable. That's the only way it can go. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say I completely agree with what Jar said, and I think it's too bad that this is a very technical thing. A few months ago, we looked into integrating. Oh, my background is changing. Nice. Into integrating some of Magic Eden, let's say, buying on our website. But it's too bad that they removed this opportunity from the API. And I think it's really a lost business opportunity for them, because we would have brought them more business of people just buying art on our website on the curated selection. But no, it's a pain, because of course when you're changing websites, well, the user experience is really not nice. Even if you're sent to the exact page, it's still you're changing everything. You're changing the layouts, and people are lost. And well, I think it's too bad, and they should focus on the marketplace business and let other integrate. And of course, they should take a fee for that, because they provide a service. But let other third parties integrate into their system for trading. That would be great.
Yeah.
Is that so? That was a feature that they were going to add and then decided to cancel, was it?
No, it was there for a long time, but then they just removed
Oh,
it.
okay, right. Got it.
Yeah, I don't know
Well,
why.
maybe what we're going to see in the future then is a third party that comes in and recognizes the the shortfall that the current market has as far as a way to showcase art on Bitcoin, and maybe they fill the gap and might not have to look too far to see that. OCM is building Osura, and we're seeing a lot of fine art that's making its way over there.
Yeah,
Maybe
true.
that's the answer.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I wanted to share also my curatorial experience here with Looming Emotion, because I know we haven't talked about it yet, and I wanted to just give some thoughts about this collection that actually allowed people to get a free inflatable, a guaranteed inflatable, and it has received a little bit more attention lately. People have realized how amazing this collection is, and here again we have the same kind of problems, or at least we have to do the same thing. We go to this collection, and we need to go here and to unfreeze the animated images. Here now we have animated looping videos, and once, if you want to go to the actual content, where you need to go down here and look at it. But yeah, tell us just very quickly about Looming Emotion and this continuity to inflatables, and maybe, I don't know if you want to share some thoughts about some ideas that you may have for future projects now that you have released inflatables.
I mean, that was lots of questions in one there. But yeah, continuation from Looming Emotion. So obviously, I'd say continuationally, like aesthetically, it is a continuation from what I started exploring first on Tezos chain, and then brought it to Artblocks curated with this kind of digital class aesthetic, and then brought it on Bitcoin as well, and again pushing it a step further and trying to make something that feels even a bit more like physical. And we did even explore the idea of like trying to produce these in a physical format. But I did, like with both these collections on Ordinals on Bitcoin, I tried to make something that feels kind of physical, and that's something that could be in real life. And it's so this collection and inflatables is kind of, I'd say, almost the opposite on like my art spectrum. This is like it's very serious piece, and has a deep concept behind it. Um, Compared to then inflatables, which is a lot more kind of focusing on the tech side of things and exploring the tech. Obviously, both of these are very tech oriented pieces in a way that they are done fully with algorithmic, like it is fully code based, let's say, and it is trying to showcase like what is possible to do on this kind of medium of websites or like digital art on within the browser. But yeah, like as I say, it is kind of from two different directions. But what else did you ask? So that's kind of like
Well, I was asking also maybe for your if you have any ideas of future projects that you want to experiment with, that you can talk about or reveal already.
yeah. What I kind of sprinkled in as some kind of additional thing into inflatables obviously was this 3D printing aspect of like kind of bringing things from algorithmic origins into real life. So I was trying to see like kind of learning on the way while building inflatables, like how could I create 3D models that are fully done with code, and then you can export it and bring to real life. So that's, I think, something that I'll continue exploring. And then I'll just share one link for fun. Let's see. I think it's that one.
Every time that I look at this collection, man, I just want to put some Pink Floyd and lay on the sofa and watch this or 360 immersive experience.
Yeah, and what you don't obviously kind of get from the thumbnails. Now we're finally kind of inspired by Inflatables animated thumbnails working. We managed to get the animated thumbnails going on in Magic Eden for Looming Emotion as well. I think that was an important step, but obviously, like, you don't see that it's not only that 1 second loop that we've inscribed. We've inscribed the whole kind of journey that you can open Looming Emotion on your screen. You can let it run for a day, and it's always going to be. It's obviously doesn't change wildly in the style, but in theory, like every hour you look at it, it's going to be a tiny bit different. And that's kind of like my version of trying to bring something like natural into your living environment. Nowadays, like places that you live in might be very far kind of removed from nature, and like, let's say, Looming Emotion, it does have these kind of natural patterns, and every time you look at it, it's new. And so in that way, it kind of mimics nature, that you can maybe have it on your screen running there and be like, oh, it's something new, something exciting happening there that I can like pay attention to. But yeah, like the link that you opened already over there and that I posted in the chat, that's the library that I used for it. It's kind of, this is a website that showcases the library that I used for Inflatables, which makes it possible to render these kind of fairly realistic looking characters. So you can change in the top right, you see the model. I like there's a one Darth Vader that looks quite cool. So by me already inscribing this kind of library, it means that it's fairly easy now for me to create more of these kind of 3D shapes that look realistic. And then also at the same time, in the same way as with Inflatables, you can click a button from the GUI and export the model. So I really like this idea of like making algorithmic 3D art that then you can easily also export and either obviously like make yourself. Like with Inflatables, I try to kind of promote this thing that, yeah, if the 3D file is for you, you can do whatever you want with it. But also at the same time, let's say like one idea is that I could make some kind of algorithmic 3D shape and make a one-of-one piece of art that I then use that code to create a physical piece. And then at the same time, like obviously the sale would be when I find a collector that enjoys that piece of art, then it would be also the physical piece, but also the code that created it. Obviously, like you can't just click a button and create that artwork. Like obviously I would put a lot of effort into making something that like looks really kind of impressive in real life. But I just love the idea of having this kind of algorithmic art that in some formats lives forever on blockchain, kind of in a similar way as like, imagine if there was a data from Mona Lisa, like all the brush strokes that had been used to create this masterpiece. Obviously, like if you then replicate those pieces, it doesn't mean that the original is going to be less valuable, but it's an interesting aspect that kind of algorithmic art allows, that we can store this kind of process that was created to make the final physical piece. So that's kind of like what I've been thinking about exploring with the use of this, the library that I use for Inflatables, at the same time being able to make kind of images on Ordinals that look like they are kind of realistic looking objects. Yeah.
Okay, so if I understood it well, there is some room. I'm putting you on the spot here, I'm sorry, but maybe for 101's Inflatables that will come with the 3D printing, that'd be amazing. You know, just
yeah, no, that's one, and obviously like not necessarily even Inflatables, could be something which is much more like sculptural and not that focused on characters, let's say.
Okay. Well, that's great, man. I'm excited for it. I'm really excited. It's crazy what you can do
Yeah,
here
likewise.
on
I know,
Vivid.
right? There's so many things. That's how I feel like with art on blockchain and ordinals, that there's so many. It's hard to like almost pick the direction that you want to go to, because there's so many different directions that you could explore. And like I said, like inflatables, obviously that was a kind of a gift or like an airdrop to my supporters, looming emotion collectors. But it did take many months of work, and then you kind of need to decide like what's the direction that you want to go
Oh
into and
man,
explore.
talk for you, because you said that there are a lot of interesting things that you can do, but that's also because you are super creative, and but that because you are an artist.
Yeah,
Because if you jump
yeah,
on the insights chat on Discord, the only thing that the community managed to think about is these degenerative salamis connected to blue pills, runes. So there is, it's not the same thing, you know. So we don't think about
yeah, yeah.
the.
Yeah, I remember it was me and Mood Soup and someone else that we were talking in Paris, and someone was asking us like, how do you get the ideas to like create, like he was not figuring out like what kind of collection he would create. And then me and Mood Soup were kind of looking at each other and be like, well, we have thousands of ideas. Like constantly, there's new ideas coming into your brain, and it's just difficult to. The challenge is not to get the ideas; it's to figure out what idea that you want to focus on.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Shaderism, I have a question
Yeah.
for you, if I may interrupt.
Go for it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you mentioned when you came started creating digital art, you started at Tezos. I know you have the art blocks collection, and the name of that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't come
Blind
to
spots.
mind.
Blind
Yes.
spots.
Um, yep. And now you're on Bitcoin. Do you see yourself going back and creating on any other chains, or is it all Bitcoin from here on out?
I haven't like really thought about it deeply. I don't feel like I'm that idealistic about it as some other people. Like I did. Well, these I had two releases over the summer, and these were kind of like forced to be on specific chains. The one was with the Finnish National Gallery, and it had to be on Ethereum, and the one was with the Generative Art Museum that said that it needs to be on FX Hash on Tezos. So between Looming Emotion and Inflatables, I did two collections that were outside of Bitcoin, which was, yeah, the choice, as I said, was kind of forced on me. Like I didn't decide it, but also I didn't like feel like I need to be fighting that. Or I definitely wanted to be on Bitcoin. I do feel like this, like Ordinals is a fantastic place to release generative art. Like compared to on Ethereum, it is possible to release generative art, but it feels like Ordinals is like really built for it. Like the tools are like the ecosystem and how you can use different libraries, like the one that we just had on Gerard's screen, the Darth Vader models and all that. Like I'm able to use other libraries in much more like free way. So from that point of view, I do really like love working on Bitcoin, but as I said, like I'm not too idealistic about it.
Hmm. No, and I think
Yeah.
that's good
Okay.
also,
Fair enough.
because if you got any good opportunity to do an exhibition with a museum like this, or for a contest, and they ask for whatever reason to have it on a specific blockchain, well, I think that's an
Yeah,
opportunity that you can.
and also there's limitations. Like obviously with Ordinals collections and then the art blocks curated, they are fully on chain.
Hmm.
But then like all my FX hash work, which is in some, at least part of it is like even much more kind of experimental, like having audio visual things and physics libraries. And so the last one that I did over the summer, it was using this kind of hand tracking machine learning library. And the library that Google has released for that, it's 10 megabytes. So
Yeah.
maybe Pierrot could have worked his magic that we could have inscribed all of it, but
3 blocks.
you
You
do
need 3 blocks, man.
exactly. So there are limitations. Like when you get some kind of idea, maybe it works nicely on ordinals, then you get some other idea that might work. Maybe it's like, well, it just really can't be on chain, or it doesn't make sense to be on chain.
Yeah. I don't know how expensive it is to pay a miner to, to have the entire transaction. Have you done your
Well,
research?
it
Maybe.
depends, but sometimes you can just agree on a fee rate and just send the transaction, and they will accept your transaction and mine it. So
Okay.
depends. Like we can check the latest block fee. It's a few $1,000, like
Okay.
3, 5, depending on
No,
one
no,
block.
nothing for people from Bitcoin. Let's go, guys! Please, once again, we are gonna ask On-Chain Monkey to sponsor the show because now there's too many free advertising here, and we'll
Absolutely.
be able to do it now. But we can ask them to inscribe a library. Actually, that could be a great initiative from the Ordinals Foundation. To inscribe libraries like this and to just give it access to everyone. I think that'd be great. That's the kind
Absolutely.
of initiatives that we need to see, and yeah, I hope that more people are going to work that way. Nowadays things seem a little bit slow. Not a lot of people are doing things, but yeah, I also because there is a lack of financement from great investors to pay to invest in projects and in foundations, these kind of things. So yeah, we'll see if the bull run continues and doesn't stop here as everybody is afraid of. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, well, guys, I think it was a great show. I think we talked about everything that we wanted to talk about. Inflatables. We talked a little bit about looming emotion. I need you guys for 5 seconds now. I need you guys to do a funny reaction or whatever for the YouTube thumbnail. So so I can put it. So please give me the best that you have.
I'm smiling.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm sure I will get something great. But yeah, I noticed that for the last show, I was like, oh my god, what can I use for the thumbnail? And this set looks great, so let's use it.
Yeah.
But
Also,
yeah,
I wanted to add before
of
we
course.
signed off, since I did do my questionnaire for people to guess how many pairs or how many soulmates have
Oh,
been formed, and
yeah. Let's go.
since I did do a script to find that, currently we have. Okay, so I'll say the numbers that don't include my wallet because obviously I do have some supply. So let's just talk about like all the other wallets. Currently, we have 95 soulmates. So these are out of the
Well,
800, about 1/8 of them are already in the same wallet as their soulmate.
Okay.
And then we have 46 soulmate groups that are formed. So they are basically, we can say that they are 46 different collectors
Hmm.
that have managed to get soulmates.
Oh, that's a lot.
And the biggest amount this far, I was surprised. I thought maybe someone would have had already found four, but the biggest one, obviously the most common one, this is that they have two,
Two.
but there's a couple that have three already in the same wallet.
Oh, that's awesome.
oh well.
So yeah, many guessed. I mean, so some people were lowballing and guessing that there's going to be 10 pairs. Some, but I think quite many guessed around like 40 to 60, and so that was quite good
Actually,
calls.
that's a lot. I'm surprised. I thought this was gonna be a little bit less, but yeah, it's exciting. I would have said less groups, but as you said,
Mm,
maybe a group of 4 or 5,
yeah,
because
yeah.
usually the people that are interested in that they just go deep into the rabbit hole and take every soulmate that they can. Okay, well that's great. Great news. Congrats.
Yeah, obviously the challenge. I don't know, like let's say half of the supply went to looming emotion holders, and then it's difficult to know like how many of them have been active in the past months, right? Could
Yeah.
be that someone is on holidays or something else is happening in their life, and yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, well, I hope that everybody finds a soulmate. I think it's a great future, and it's symbolic. Uh, okay, guys. Well, any last words? Maybe Bastian, you want to say something before we close this up?
No, the only thing I have to say is how extremely proud I am of each of you, from different angles, because
Thank
you're
you.
all bringing something to the
Thank
equation
you.
that perhaps the other can't bring. And I think that's what's really powerful in our space here is we all have so many different talents. We're all good at so many different things. And then, one of the things that attracts me to Web3 is that sense of community. I've always kind of been a solopreneur, always into tech, always very early to tech, almost too early sometimes. But now I feel like I've found my people. I found people that I resonate with, and I think you guys have done the same because you're three people with three very unique skill sets, and to bring those together, that's where the magic happens. So I just want to see more of that. I want to see more collaboration. I want to see less PvP. I want to go back to the early vibes of Ordinals when we were all here, what I thought were the right reasons, and we were all in the same boat together. And as time has gone on, we've kind of got in our different boats and our different camps, and I think that's natural. We just all like different things, but at the end of the day, we're all here for the same reasons, and that's to spread awareness and grow art on Bitcoin. So to just see you guys thriving, you can't see me smiling, but I'm smiling. Trust me, and I want to see more of it.
Well, thank you so much, man.
Thank you so
Means a
much.
Yeah,
lot.
for real. I mean, it is kind of weird to think that if any of us three from this row, if one of us was missing, this collection would not exist.
It
Yeah.
doesn't work. It doesn't work, man. It doesn't work. And
No.
I think too many people just want to go it alone and they want to do it on their own. But that's why no one is really experimenting with some of these new technologies that you guys are pushing forward, because it does take a team. It takes people that are dedicated to this. And from the tech side, does it get much better than Perot? Well, I don't, maybe there are some equals, but he's at the top of his game. Captain,
He's got
you're
the
at the
on-chain
top of your
monkey
game.
hat. The on-chain
He's
monkey
got the
hat
on-chain
it's the
monkey
it's
hat,
the
and
ultimate
That's a
artifact.
bonus. Thank you.
If
But
he
yeah,
removes it, if
plus
he
five
removes it.
intelligence.
uh,
But it's true. But we also and maybe what you didn't mention is that we also need people like you, Base Chain. We need the collectors, because without collectors, there is no one to collect the art.
yeah.
well, on that note, I think over the last 2 years, myself and some other members of the Vivid community have all come together and realized that we are here for the right reasons, that we do want to collect amazing art, and community is underrated, but in my opinion, community above all. Without the community, there's no one here to enjoy the art. There's no one here to motivate the artist to keep creating, and that's why we show up every day, because we want to see these things. We want to see people pushing boundaries, and each and every one of you that are on that stage right now are doing that. So I'm here for it.
And I must say that I'm super happy about the community that we have, man. I don't know if you remember, so this guy that was listing art projects, and he didn't mention Vivid because there was not he was not aware of what's happening here on Ordinals. And you also commented on this. You said like, oh, you're talking.
Cal,
Yeah,
CAO, or
exactly. So that's the person I was talking just before the show, and it was great. It seems like a great person, and we're gonna continue to chat. And he just told me from the beginning, I was like, man, I don't know if you pay those guys, if they are part of the team or whatever, but you have a fucking community that that just gave me all the info that I had. They talk about Vivid like it was their home. I was like, yeah, that's the idea. That's what we want to build. So yeah, I'm super happy about that.
well, the leadership sets the tone, and you've certainly done that, and we've just fallen in place. And really, we're just doing what comes natural to us. We're here, we're making friends, we're talking about art, we're in a comfortable place. We're not here for the quick flip. Perhaps some people are, but not the Vivid community. And I think we've got a lot of room to grow, because I'm also active collecting on the Ethereum side of things, more the fully on-chain side, which which is a little slower. But I think that Ethereum collectors, that's one thing that really differentiates us, is that we have a real, true art community here. And unless you've experienced that, unless you've felt that, you just don't know. So, but if you know, and this is it. And I couldn't imagine anybody else even competing with what we've put together here. And I say we. I had nothing to do with it. I just show up. But it's guys like you, Shaderism, Captain Perot. You guys are giving us the foundation for this, and just keep doing that. Keep your heads down, and we'll bring the collectors. We'll keep building this community. There is no second best.
Let's go. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Well, guys, we just reached out the 500 viewers, so that's amazing. Thank you so much. And I almost forgot about it, but I'm offering an inflatables from the Vivid Vault. So I give it like 48 hours from now. Just comment what you liked about this show, and I will pick a random person here. Okay, so just comment here on X in the comment section of this live broadcast. I don't know how does it work, if it actually I think it's an actual post. Yeah, so yeah, you can comment. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Well, see you soon, right? Shaderism, we can wait to see anything that you're gonna build again. Pierrot, of course, we talk almost every day. Can't wait to take the coffee again tomorrow. But yeah, and Base Chain, continue fighting with your crown and your sword. You are a real warrior here. Let's go.
Thanks, guys. All the best.
I really hope that you manage to get the laser eyes going, because that will be the grail.
Let's go.
I mean, it's the grail anyways, but
exactly.
Today's the day. Guys. Today's the day.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining.
Have a good night.
Until next time. Bye.